Respected Principal Madam and lecturers, my dear students, a very good morning to one and all. Let me introduce myself. I am Rajivi. I am studying degree BHP Group final year in TTWRDC Women's Command. I am participating in the Best Student Teacher program. I am the part of this program. My subject is history. I am going to teach about my favorite topic is Buddhism. When we listen the word Buddhism, we can easily remember the person Gautama Buddha, who was the founder of Buddhism. And Buddhism is one of the religion. And one more thing here, the preachings of Buddha known as Buddhism. In the first slide, we need to know the information about Buddhism. First point, Buddhism which emerged in the 6th century BC along with Jainism. In the 6th century BC, not only Buddhism, Jainism also emerged. These both religions were emerged in the 6th century against the Brahmanism and challenging the supremacy of Brahmanism. And one more thing here, these both religions were against the caste system also. Second point, Gautama Buddha was the founder of Buddhism. I already told you that Gautama Buddha was the founder of Buddhism and he had the titles Shakyamuni and Tathagata. Third point, his parents Shuddhodana and Mayadevi of Sakya dynasty. Gautama Buddha's father Shuddhodana and mother Mayadevi. Gautama Buddha belongs to Sakya dynasty and Gautama Buddha was one of the great king. Fourth point, his stepmother Mahaprajapati Gautami, his wife Yashoda and had son Rahul. Mayadevi died soon after his birth. Then Gautama Buddha was brought up by his stepmother Mahaprajapati Gautami. Then after he got the name Gautama Siddhartha and he was popularly known as Gautama Siddhartha. His wife Yashoda and had son Rahul. At an early age, Gautama Buddha married Princess Yashoda and had son Rahul. Gautama Buddha married Princess Yashoda at the age of 16 in 547 BC. Once again revise the points. Buddhism which emerged in the 6th century BC along with Jainism. In the 6th century BC, both religions, Buddhism and Jainism, were emerged against the Brahmanism and also caste system. Second point, Gautama Buddha was the founder of Buddhism. He had the titles Shakyamuni and Tathagata. His parents Shuddhodana and Mayadevi of Sakya dynasty. Gautama Buddha belongs to Sakya dynasty and he was one of the great king. His stepmother Mahaprajapati Gautami. When Mayadevi died soon after his birth, then Gautama Buddha was brought up by his stepmother Mahaprajapati Gautami. Then after he got the name Gautama Siddhartha. At an early age, Gautama Buddha married Princess Yashoda and had son Rahul. Let's move on to the next slide. Who was the Buddha? Gautama Buddha was born in 563 BC at Lumbini near Kapilavastu. Gautama Buddha was born in 563 BC at Lumbini near Kapilavastu. Lumbini and Kapilavastu, these places are in Nepal country. Here we need to observe one thing, Gautama Buddha belongs to Nepal country. His original name was Siddhartha. Raised in great luxury to be a king. I already told you that Gautama Buddha was one of the great king and he had luxurious life. Felt empathy for the suffering of others. One day Gautama Buddha happened to see in the streets of Kapilavastu the four great sins hurt him deeply. That four sins were first one old age person, second one diseased person and third one dead body and fourth an ascetic person. These four sins hurt him deeply. So that's why he realized that the world is full of misery. So that's why felt empathy for the suffering of others. At the age 29, rejected the life of luxury to seek enlightenment and the solution of suffering. At the age 29, Gautama Buddha left from his family, parents, as well as luxurious life to seek and find a solution to the worldly problems. When Gautama Buddha happened to see four scenes in the state of Kapilavastu, he wanted to find the solution why that people suffered that kind of things. So he wanted to find the solution to the problems. At the age of 29, Gautam Buddha left from his family, parents, as well as a luxurious life. And one more thing here, when Gautam Buddha left from his family, which is known as Mahabhinishkramana. And next point, later he learnt Sankhya philosophy from Aramakalama and meditation from Rudraka Ramaputra. When Gautam Buddha left from his family, then he studied Vedas and philosophy. Then he learnt Sankhya philosophy from Aramakalama and meditation from Rudraka Ramaputra. Gautama Buddha had both teachers. First teacher name was Aramakalama and second teacher name was Rudraka Ramaputra. He took deep meditation for 40 days, after which he got enlightenment at the age of 35. Gautam Buddha took deep meditation for 40 days under the peepal tree in the state of Bodh Gaya, after which he got enlightenment at the age of 35, which was known as Sambodhi. We need to know the difference between Mahabhinishkramana and Sambodhi. Gautam Buddha left from his family at the age of 29, which was known as Mahabhinishkramana, and Gautam Buddha got enlightenment at the age of 35, which was known as Sambodhi. So this is the difference between Mahabhinishkramana and Sambodhi. Once again revise the points. Who was the Buddha? Gautam Buddha was born in 563 BC at Lumbini near Kapilavastu. These two places, Lumbini and Kapilavastu, in the country Nepal. Gautam Buddha belongs to Nepal country. His original name was Siddhartha. Raised in great luxury to be a king. He was one of the great king and he had luxurious life. Felt empathy for the suffering of others. When he happened to see the 4 scenes in the street of Kapilavastu, that 4 scenes hurt him deeply. So that's why he wanted to find the solution to the problems. So he felt empathy for the suffering of others. At the age 29, rejected the life of luxury to seek enlightenment and the solution to suffering. He left from his family at the age of 29 because he happened to see the 4 sins. That 4 sins hurt him deeply. They were first one old age person, second one diseased person, third one dead body, and fourth one an ascetic person. These 4 incidents hurt him deeply, so that's why he wanted to left from his home to find a solution to the problems. When he left from his home at the age of 29, which was known as Mahabhinishkramana, later he learnt Sankhya philosophy from Aramakalama and meditation from Rudraka Ramaputra. He took deep meditation for 40 days, after which he got enlightenment at the age of 35. Gautama Buddha's enlightenment, which was known as Sambodhi. I think you have learned. Next, move on to the next slide. Life of Buddha, founder of Buddhism. We need to know the information about life of Buddha and founder of Buddhism. Siddhartha, also known as Gautama, was born about 2500 years ago. I already told you that Gautama Buddha was born in 563 BC at Lumbini near Kapilavastu. Buddha belonged to Sakya Gana. He belongs to Sakya dynasty. Was a Kshatriya. Gautama Buddha was one of the great king. He left the comforts of his home in search of knowledge. He left from his home at the age of 29, which was known as Mahabhinishkramana. And one more thing here, when Gautama Buddha left from his family at the age of 29, he had the horse. He used the one horse. Horse name was Kandaka and his charioteer name was Chennudu. Wandered for several years and held meetings and discussions. Gautama Buddha toured extensively in several years, several places to held meetings and discussions. He wanted to educating the people and spread of Buddhism. With this purpose, He wanted to hold meetings and discussions in several places, so that's why he toured extensively several places and several countries. Especially, he wandered North India also for the purpose of spreading Buddhism and meditated for several days under a peepal tree at Bodh Gaya in Bihar. In the state of Bihar, Gautam Buddha took deep meditation for 40 days under a peepal tree. This peepal tree in the state of Bihar. Attained enlightenment. Gautam Buddha got enlightenment at the age of 35, which was known as Sambodhi. I already told you that. Came to be known as Buddha or the Wise One. After Gautam Buddha got enlightenment at the age of 35, he came to be known as Buddha or the Wise One. At Sarnath near Varanasi, gave his first sermon. Gautam Buddha gave his first sermon at Sarnath near Varanasi in the state of Uttar Pradesh. He gave his first sermon to his 5 disciples, Ananda, Upali, so many members are there. Spent entire life educating people. Gautam Buddha spent his entire life only for educating the people. And one more thing here, at Sarnath near Varanasi, gave his first sermon. Buddha delivered his first sermon at Sarnath, which was known as Dharmachakra Parivartana. And then after, Gautam Buddha passed away at Kusinagar, UP. Gautam Buddha died at the age of 80 in 483 BC in Kusinagar, in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Once again revise the points. Life of Buddha. Siddhartha, also known as Gautama, was born about 2500 years ago. He was born in 563 BC at Lumini near Kapilavastu. Buddha belonged to Sakyagana, was a Kshatriya. He left the comforts of his home in search of knowledge. He left the home and parents as well as luxurious life, which was known as Mahabhinishkramana. Wandered for several years and held meetings and discussions. Meditated for several days under a peepal tree at Bodh Gaya in Bihar. Attained enlightenment. Gautam Buddha got enlightenment at the age of 35, which was known as Sambodhi. Came to be known as Buddha or the Wise One. At Sarnath near Varanasi, gave his first sermon. Gautam Buddha gave his first sermon at Sarnath, which was known as Dharmachakra Parivartana. Spent his entire life educating the people. Gautam Buddha died at the age of 80 in 483 BC in Kusinagar in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Now let's move on to the next slide. What did the Buddha teach? We have to know the information about what did the Buddha teach. The 4 noble truths. These four noble truths are also known as Arya Satyas. First one, the world is full of misery. Desires are the cause for the misery. Third one, ignorance is the source of misery. Fourth one, ignorance can be destroyed by the Eightfold Path. The world is full of misery. Gautam Buddha happened to see in the 4 scenes in the street of Kapilavastu. That 4 scenes hurt him deeply. So that's why I think he gave this first statement, the world is full of misery. Misery means sorrowness, sadness. Second one, desires are the cause for the misery. Desires and attachments, attractions are the reason for our misery. Let us take an example, desires. If you want to buy a new dress, then you have no money. Then you can't able to purchase that dress. So that's time you have disappointed. One of the misery and attractions also reasons for our misery. Attachments, we have the relationships, family relations, friendship, lot of relationships we have. In the pandemic situation, we can't able to meet our friends. We can speak with them through mobile, but we can't able to meet with them. So this is one of the disappointment, one unhappy moment. So this is cause for the misery. And attractions. In the present day, youth are attracting the smart mobiles and lot of bad things. This is also cause for the misery. Next, third one, ignorance is the source of misery. Ignorance means lack of knowledge. Lack of knowledge is the source of misery, because when we have no knowledge with to how to lead our life, then we can't able to find the problem, and we can't able to find the solution to the problem. So ignorance is the one of the source of misery. And fourth one, ignorance can be destroyed by the eightfold path. If you want to if you want to overcome our ignorance, then we can able to follow the eightfold path. Once again revise the points. What did the Buddha teach? The Four Noble Truths. The world is full of misery. When Gautam Buddha happened to see four sins in the street of Kapilavastu, that four sins hurt him deeply. First one is old age person, and second one is diseased person, and third one is dead body, and fourth one an acidic person. These four sins hurt him deeply, so that's why he gave the first statement, the world is full of misery. Second one, diseases are the cause for the misery. I already told you the examples, that ignorance is the source of misery, lack of knowledge is the source of misery. Fourth one, ignorance can be destroyed by the eightfold path. We can overcome our ignorance by following the eightfold paths. Let's move on to the next slide. What is eightfold path? First of all, we have to know the information about eightfold path. Present, we are using the eightfold paths in the name of soft skills and personality development skills. In the ancient time, Gautama Buddha already gave these eightfold paths. So we need to observe this thing. First one is right vision, second one right speech, right livelihood, right action, right mindedness, right resolution, right knowledge, right meditation. First one is right vision. Right vision means we need to treat any type of animal or human being with equal proportion. This is the equality or right vision in the world to lead our life. This is the right vision. And next, right speech. Right speech means talking, speaking. When we are going to speak with other person, we need to use the good talking and proper manner, good manner. This is the right speech. And right livelihood. Right livelihood means peaceful life and don't harass the others. This is the minimum support of life. So, right livelihood means we need to maintain a peaceful life and happy full life. This is most important, which included in the right livelihood. Fourth one, right action. Right action means this is one type of work. Right action depends on our behavior. Our teachers, our parents are our guidelines to the life. So right action is most important. We need to do any type of work. That is only good way, not bad way. We have to base it the good and bad, and then we need to do the work. Good work, good action is reflect us. So right action is most important in our life. And fifth one, right mindedness. Right mindedness means we have to divert our mind inside of positive thoughts. As a human being, we have positive thoughts and negative thoughts. In this way, we have to divert our mind side of positive thoughts. So, when negative thoughts will come in our mind, then we need to overcome our thoughts. So, we have to divert our mind inside of positive thoughts. And seventh one, right knowledge. Right knowledge is most important. This is the minimum knowledge to lead our life in the society. So if you not have any knowledge in the society, then you can't able to lead our life. So knowledge is most important in our life to lead a life in the society. Last one, right meditation. Above these seven things are dependent on the meditation. Meditation plays an important role in our life. So we have to do meditation every day. Meditation makes a very controlled and perfect person. So, right meditation is most important. And one more thing here, if you control your mind, you can control your life. So, this is the right meditation. Right vision, right speech, right livelihood, right action, right mindedness, right resolution, right knowledge, right meditation. Right vision means treat in a equal manner. Right speech means speak with other person in a proper manner. Right livelihood, lead a peaceful life, don't harass with others. Right action, we have to do any type of work in a good manner. Right mindedness, we need to divert our mind inside of positive thoughts. Right resolution, in a difficult situations also, we need to take a right decision in a right time. Right knowledge, we have to follow the right knowledge. This is most important to lead our life in the society. Right meditation, about the seven things depended on the meditation. If you control your mind, if you can control your life. I think you have understood. Let's move on to the next slide. The spread of Buddhism, 500 BC to 600 AD. You have to observe in this map how the Buddhism spread in several places or countries. We need to observe through this map: India, Tibet, Burma, Java, China, Japan. These arrow marks indicate the how Buddhism spread in several countries or areas. We need to observe India, Burma, Tibet, Java, China, Korea. So this one point is Nepal place in our India, because Gautam Buddha was born in 563 BC at Lumbini near Kapilavastu in the Nepal country. We can easily observe through this map. Okay, next move on to the next slide. Origin of Buddhism. This is Nepal country, red border, and this is the border places of Nepal. Spread of Buddhism during the lifetime of Buddha. During the lifetime of Buddha, Buddha toured several places, especially North India. Then he spread Buddhism. He held meetings and discussions to educating the people. So that's why the Buddhism spread in several countries and several areas in our India. So we can easily observe these surrounding places of Nepal. These places are spread with the Buddhism. Okay. Next move on to the next slide. Conclusion. However, Buddhism opposed the caste system and gave equal place to all. Both Buddhism and Jainism played a significant role in spreading logical thinking, which led to the rejection of many blind beliefs in the Indian society. And literature of Buddhism brought glory and fluorescence to Indian culture. So we need give importance to Buddhism. Here, Buddhism opposed the caste system and gave equal place to all. Buddhism opposed the caste system and Brahmanism gave equal status to all in the society. Both Buddhism and Jainism played significant role in spreading logical thinking, which led to the rejection of many blind beliefs in the Indian society. In our Indian society, these both religions, Buddhism and Jainism, rejected and opposed the blind beliefs, means superstitions. And literature of Buddhism brought glory and fluorescence to Indian culture. Buddhism literature available in Pali language only. So in our Indian culture, Buddhism brought glory. So we need to remember it. So we need give importance to Buddhism. So that's why we need to give importance to Buddhism. Buddhism gave many useful principles to us in our life. These principles useful to us. Thank you. Thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity.